In this demonstration, we're just going to have a look at the view configuration settings that we have within the View Manager. So what we'll do here is we'll first off kick off with the Servers tab. So on the Servers tab, what we have is we have the ability here to add the Virtual Center servers. Now the Virtual Center servers are the things that actually provide my virtual machines. So in the case of an automated pool, this Virtual Center server will provision the virtual machines. In the case of a manual pool, these would be managed desktops. We then have the Security Servers tab, and what we'll do in a later demonstration is we'll just have a look at how we configure the security server. But this is where we would see all of the security servers which will be sitting in our DMZ to allow external clients to access their virtual machines. Then down to the View Connection Servers, so I have a list of all the View Connection servers within my organization, and in a later demo we'll add an additional server. And the connection server is the thing that authenticates the users. So, and then finally, down at the bottom here, we have the transfer servers. So the transfer servers are responsible for allowing offline desktops or local mode desktops to work. So if we come back up here, and we'll just come back up to the Virtual Center servers configuration, we'll just highlight our Virtual Center server, select our Edit button, and within the Edit button, what we can see here is you can see the server address, the username and the password. We've got the port for the tunneled connection. On the advanced settings here, we can specify, in the case of an automated pool, the maximum number of provisioning operations. So let's say I had 8 virtual machines I wanted to provision, and we would do 4 and then 4. We've also got the maximum concurrent power operations, and we'll set that to 4 as well. What we'll do in a later video is we'll come back to the View Composer settings. So we'll click OK at this point here, and that's now done. If we then come down to the connection server itself and just edit the settings on my connection server, what we can do here is we can specify external tags. Now or internal tags. What they will be used for is they will be used to allow connection servers to connect to specific pools. So if a user connects to the connection server and it has a tag that associates it with, say, IT pool, only the IT pool will be accessible through this connection server. We've then got the HTTP secure external URS tunnel. We've got, as we can see here, use secure tunnel connection to this desktop, and we've also got settings for the PC over IP secure gateway. Local mode settings allows us to specify exactly what happens in local mode. So we'll come to this in a later demo and just have a look at the various settings for local mode. The authentication tab just allows me to specify things like use smart cards or use RSA authentication for the VMware View client to the virtual machines, and the backup tab is used for backing up the configuration of the View Connection server. And as you can see, it's going to happen every day at midnight, and we're going to keep a maximum of 10 backups, and we're going to keep it in this location here. So we'll click OK at this point here. The product licensing and usage tab here just allows me to enter in my VMware View license, whether that be Premier or Enterprise, and we can see down at the bottom here, in the case of the usage of my license, the highest I've ever went up to was 1 in the case of my VMware View licenses. The global settings, what we have here is we have settings that affect everything. So global, being global, affect the entire View organization. So what we have for the global sessions, first off is we have the session timeout. Now this determines how long in minutes users are allowed to keep sessions open after they log into the View Connection server. We then have require SSL for client connections and View Administrator. So this determines whether SSL is used to create a secure communication channel between the View Connection server and the client, and between the browser user and the View Administrator. The next option we have is we have the Reauthenticate VPN connections. What this does is determines whether the tunnel client user's credentials must be reauthenticated after network interruption. The message security mode, what this one does is it determines whether the Java messaging service messages passed between the View Connection server, 3 or 4 components are signed and verified. We've then got disable the single sign-on for local mode operations. This determines whether single sign-on is enabled when users log into their local desktops. Enable automatic status updates determines whether the View Connection server updates the global status pane in the upper left-hand corner of the View Administrator every few minutes. The dashboard page of the View Administrator is also updated every few minutes. And when we enable this setting, any idle session within the View Manager remains open. So what we'll do here is we'll just enable this one, and as we can see here, it means that this View Manager client will never time out. Display a pre-login message affects the View client. So as the users go into the View client, what we can do is display a pre-login message. So we'll just put welcome to QA VMware View environment. And we'll see this working in a later demo. Then display a warning before forced log off. What this does is it displays a warning message when users are forced to log out because of a scheduled or immediate update such as a desktop refresh operation. So what we'll do here is we'll leave this as the default, and it's going to tell us that they're scheduled an important update, and this will be restarted in the case of your virtual machine in 5 minutes. So we'll click OK at this point here. So we've now registered all of those global settings. Register desktop sources just shows me any terminal service sources or other sources such as physical devices. The Administrators tab is used for setting up roles, and we'll have a look at this in a later demo. We've got the thin app configuration, which allows us to specify that MSIs for thin apps are actually delivered straight to the virtual desktop. The event configuration tab allows me to specify my event database and specify what we classify as events in the view administrator, so up to a maximum of 6 months, and classify events for new as up to a maximum of 3 days. We've then got the transfer server repository, and this is just specifying exactly where the virtual desktops will be delivered from for an offline or a local mode desktop. And that's the end of this demonstration of just covering the view configuration settings. Thanks very much.